Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this evening's Soul Spectacular. What we have planned this evening is obviously we're going to have a small interview with Snake at the moment, and then we'll be moving on to some soul music. Lots of opportunities for people to dance to, so please get up, leave your seats, and just have a great time. As a musician, we all try to strive for achieving a recognisable sound, whether it's on a guitar, on a bass, trumpet, whatever it is, we always try and create something that can be instantly recognisable whenever and wherever it's played. Our guest this evening has got such a recognisable sound. Everything that you heard throughout the meal, from when you came in at 7:30, even the Motorhead track was Snake playing on there. So he's got a very, very recognisable sound. And please, would you put your hands together and welcome this evening's very, very special guest, Mr. Snake Davis. Welcome. Have a seat, Snake.
You know how to embarrass a man, don't you?
Well, yeah. I've had plenty of practice. Right. Now then, there are so many questions that... Yeah, relax. There's so many questions that I've obviously got to ask you, but the first one, the one that must be on everybody's mind, and you must have heard this 1,000 times before. You must have been asked this at countless gigs. But I've got to ask it tonight, because some people in here probably won't know the answer. Why do they call you Snake Davis?
I've just answered that to table 19, so I can't answer it again. They all know the answer, don't you guys? It's too rude, isn't it? No, it's not. No, it's actually, I know all the girls are excited, but it's actually a bit of a boring answer, really. So when I was still at music college, I went to music college in Leeds about 4,000 years ago when dinosaurs roamed the earth. And we used to play the pubs and clubs a lot, and my best mate, Dave Bowie, is still my best mate, his girlfriend said, when you play, you look just like, you're all sort of slithery and slidey, a bit sort of like a snake. And Dave said, yeah, and you kind of always, you wriggle your way around the melody, you never play it straight, so it'd be a great stage name for you. And I thought, yeah, I'll buy that. It's more memorable than Chris. So, no offence to any Chris's, because that's what my mum still calls me. It's a fine name. Yeah.
Okay.
Just reading Kenny Everett's book.
Oh, right. What was it then in those early days that first turned you on to music? What made you want to play?
I loved soul music. I always really, really loved soul music. And when I was a nipper, before the voice broke, before the age of 11, 12, I was quite a good singer. I was a little boy soprano. And music gave me the most special feeling ever in my life. I didn't recognise it at the time, but when something makes you feel all special and lovely, like football or chocolate cake or something, with me it was music, and it was making music. So when my voice broke, it was all over and I was all sad, and then I discovered the sax and it became my voice.
Did you always want to be a musician?
Nah.
No?
No, I wanted to be a normal person. And all those years, I played and sang and learnt things all through my teens, but I never thought about doing it as a job until I was about 19, 20. And then kept looking at the sax and thinking, you and me, maybe we could make it. And yeah, I suppose the rest is history.
Yeah. Well, as a former teacher myself, I always enjoy when students get in touch with me and touch bases with me. What about you when you were first learning? Did you ever get back in touch with your first sax teacher, for example?
That's a bit of a sad story, really, because as I started getting good and getting recognised and making saxophone playing my career, if you like, I sort of traced it all back like you're making me do now. And I thought, do you know when it all started was when I was standing beside the piano and Mrs. Thomas was there in Glaslough Primary School in Newport in Monmouthshire playing a piano, and I was singing Under the Linden Tree in my little high voice and feeling all lovely and not really knowing why. And that's what all kicked it off for me, and she was so lovely and encouraged me and got me into singing competitions. So I was overwhelmed with these feelings of gratitude, but she'd already died when I traced her back, you know. So I spoke to her family, but she was gone.
Oh, that's a sad story. Better move on to my next question. I mean, obviously,
it's a jolly Saturday night, isn't it?
Set the mood.
But it's very important what you say, and you know, I spend a lot of time with youngsters now. I just did a lovely project in York, and it was so good, it was so special, it was so important that I canned an M People gig for it. I put in somebody to be Snaky for the night in M People, because I was doing this thing with all the youngsters, and it was. If you can bring
I must have missed that phone call.
Yeah. couldn't afford you.
Sorry, I interrupted there.
No, but there were some lovely performances from 14, 15-year-olds, and that's the most important thing. You know, that's more important than being on stage at the Albert Hall, really. You know, not that I've ever done that.
Not that you've ever been on the
Since
Albert
last
Hall,
night.
Yeah. I mean, you're known for playing the saxophone. I mean, that's what you're most famous for. But what about other instruments? Perhaps you'd like to talk about the other instruments that you play.
Only briefly. I mean, I play a lot of flute, which if you come to a Snake Davis band gig, you see me play Oriental flutes and whistles, and you've seen me do that. And in the privacy of my own home, or if there's not a spotlight on me, I'll occasionally be caught playing a bit guitar or piano, but I'm no great shakes on them, but it's just for writing and arranging. But I love my flutes and whistles.
Right. But it's a saxophone, really, that...
It's the saxophone, yeah. I mean,
it's your true love.
Oh, I mean, you know, saxophone is a proper instrument.
It is.
We'll talk about that later, Ruth.
Anyway, I mean, you've played with so many artists over the years, over the decades. And are there any sort of stories that you could perhaps share with that stand out for you at all?
Well, I think because of where we are today and where I was yesterday, I have to mention that.
Yeah, you've got to mention yesterday.
Every time I'm interviewed, and it's usually on the radio or on local TV, I rarely make it to national TV, or occasionally. But they say, "Oh man, you've played with all these people, blah 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 blah. Is there anybody you still like to play with?" And I always said Van Morrison, because I've loved him, and I grew up as a teenager listening to Astral Weeks and Feed and Fleece and My Brown Eyed Girl and all that. And he was my absolute hero. And a lot of my mates have done the gig, and I've never done it, and I've never met him. So I used to say, I'd love to play with Van Morrison. And a month ago, I got the call. And last night, there I was at the Royal Albert Hall, next to Van Morrison, with a big cheesy grin on my face, hardly able to play, you know.
And now you're here.
So now I've got to think of...
with us.
Hull's all right, innit? So Van Morrison wanted to come. I said, it's sold out, you can't come, mate. Have a night off, I said.
Right. I mean, are there any actual tunes that stand out for you that you've played on? That you think, well, I'm really proud of that one. I'm really proud of the solo that I did on that, or the arrangement.
It was a bit of a cheesy walk-on to A Million Love Songs, but...
Yeah, no, I had to do that. Sorry.
That was a bit cheesy, but I'm proud of what I did on that song, and it's probably the most famous one that I played on. And when I hear it, I get a little tingle. And you played Change, Lisa Stansfield, earlier on. I was telling Table 8 over there earlier on that that was my first big world tour was with Lisa Stansfield, and it was 21 years ago, because my son is 21 years old, the big boy. And so that was probably the first thing I played on that got on the radio a lot. And it's that funny feeling when you walk into a station and you hear a saxophone, you go, oh, it's me. It's like seeing yourself in the mirror. So there's that one, and then obviously there's the annoying M People solos, and all that kind of thing. But I'm proud of them.
No, you should be. I mean, people might wonder when all musicians have a heyday, a halcyon period, when the sort of...
What are you saying? I'm past it.
No. When those world tours and sell-out stadiums are no longer there, that people will wonder just what it is that musicians do. How do you make ends meet?
Have you heard of painting and decorating?
Yeah. Just leave a
Nothing
few
wrong with
cards.
that,
I mean, I know what you do, but these nice people over here won't know what you do.
I'll resist the comedy. Well, there's a saying that you can describe a musician's career. That first of all, people are saying, "Who's Snake Davis?" And then they're saying, "Oh, get me Snake Davis." And then a few years later, they're saying, "Who's Snake Davis?" Or they're saying, "Get me a young Snake Davis." That's the worst. Anyway, to answer your question. Okay, last night I was playing to however many thousand at the Royal Albert Hall, and next month I'll be playing to 15,000 people a night for quite a few nights on the trot in Japan. But I'm not playing as myself, I'm playing as a sideman. And, the art centres and playing here and playing the rope walk in Barton-on-Humber and playing to 200 people at a whole truck, that's what I love, that's my bread and butter, and I'll do that until I flipping die, or till all my teeth drop out.
Don't mention teeth dropping out. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Have you got a dodgy tooth?
I've got several dodgy teeth. Thank you very much for pointing that out.
I'm your man for dental advice, by the way.
Oh, yeah, we'll have a word later then.
We don't need to share that with everybody else.
Okay.
No.
I mean, what about the other bands that you perform in? The Suspicions and the Snake Davis Band and such. Would you like to share some moments about those?
Only to, a lot of people know what I get up to anyway, don't you, on dark nights. And for those of you that don't, if you enjoy the snaky sound, then pick up a flyer and come and see me and other guises. And we have a smaller band that does more sort of funky things, and we get the flutes out and all that, and it's more varied. And then the Suspicions that Rick mentioned, that's a full-on northern soul band, kind of similar vein to what we're doing tonight. But they might not like me, so it's not say no more. Seek me out in my different guises if you like the snaky sound. Yeah.
You talked about playing in front of 15,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
I know you've had sellout crowds at Wembley, Albert Hall. Do you ever get nervous? What about stage fright?
No,
apart from this evening,
never.
Obviously.
I think any performer that tells you they don't get nervous, whether it's a dancer or a musician, is either somebody who plays with not much soul or they're lying to you. Because we all get nervous, so you're not nervous about tonight.
No, can you tell?
No, I get nervous. I was in different ways. And somebody was asking me the same question, and I was telling them about Japan. And the thing in Japan is the guy I work for, he's an absolute megastar. And he only uses me on sort of every third or fourth tune, so there's about 20, he does a long set. He does a sort of Bruce Springsteen style 2.5 hour set. But quite often I'm not on till about the third or fourth tune. And when we play the real big stadiums, they're 50, 60, 70, 80,000. It's like playing Wembley Stadium, And we played one called the Nissan Stadium, which is 70,000. And so I'm Billy No Mates in the wings, waiting for when I come on, And all the guys, they go on together, and the crowd roars. And I'm in the wings, and I heard the roar, and it's flipping. It's like when Man U and Arsenal go out, and it's like, ooh. I thought, it sort of made me want to cry for some reason, just that emotion and that power of all those people. And that's a different kind of nervousness to tonight, just hoping I don't go wrong. But it's all different, the varieties of your nerves.
Do you have any sort of a pattern that you follow to overcome that stage fright?
Brilliant. Yeah, I eat a banana 20 minutes before I go on.
You eat a banana?
Yeah, that's supposed to be really good for your nerves. Eat a banana 20 minutes before you're due to do the act, whatever the act is.
Right.
And also, to be more serious about it, it's like the old Boy Scouts motto, be prepared. I mean, we rehearsed for 2 solid days for Van Morrison. He didn't actually turn up until the 3rd day, an hour before he was due to go on, but at least we'd learned his songs. And there's nothing that makes you more nervous about than thinking you're not quite sure about what you're doing, you know.
Right. Okay. I'll have a banana in the wings of
Have a
future
banana.
gigs.
Have a banana and practice your parts.
Right. I mean, over the decades, you must have seen a tremendous change in the record industry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I as a punter, I used to enjoy going up into Hull, into Sydney Scarboroughs, and listening in the booth and listening to the record and getting the record, taking it home and having that smell of the vinyl and putting it on the deck. I mean, but that's all gone for us now, and it's just a case of pressing the button and it's suddenly there. I mean, we've seen that change, but what's the change that you've seen from the other side of the coin, really?
Well, it's the same thing. Everybody witters on about technology and the internet and social media and whether it's good or whether it's bad. And yes, we used to sell loads and loads more CDs than we do now, and it used to make us loads more money. But on the flip side of that coin, social media is great and the internet is great because on the bad side of it, it means people can get your music for nothing. But on the other hand, it means that people in Memphis and Dortmund and Timbuktu can discover you and find your music, and you can share things more readily, and people can find out what you're up to and they can come and see you, and people travel more to shows. So overall, I just roll with it. I think it's generally good, and I try and understand it and get my kids to teach me how to use it and try and go, you know.
Do you think it's changed for the better or for the worse?
Well, that's what I was saying. It's changed for the better and for the worse because I don't make as much money, but I get to meet more people.
Actually, there's somebody from Memphis in this evening.
Yeah, I've met him already.
Oh, you have, have you?
Maybe you'll buy a CD and then prove us wrong.
I mean, apart from playing with us this evening, have you any regrets musically? Is there any missed opportunities that you've had over the years and you thought, well, should I do that? Should I not do that? No, I won't do it. And then you think, well, I really should have done that.
Well, I don't want to talk about that for too long because you want to play some music, but yeah, millions.
Oh, right, I wasn't expecting that as an answer.
Well, you get offered so many things. I was telling Table 8, again, I was telling them how this time last year I was just about to get on the plane to Tokyo and to go and play for Matey Boy, who I'm going on Monday to go to Japan again for the rest of the year. Bye. And you know, he's all right. That's the other side of things. I go mainly for the money, which is, you know, you have to every now and again. Mostly I just follow my heart, which is lovely. But I go there mainly for the money. But a week before I'm due to go to Tokyo, Lisa Stansfield called me and said, would I rejoin the band? And I couldn't because I couldn't let old flipping Japanese man down, you know. So it was heart-wrenching and it was a bit of a hard decision. But the other guy, he's kept us in bacon and nappies for 12 years, so I thought I've got to do the honourable thing. Hi, so desu ka. But it split me in two, and I've had lots of things like that, yeah, and things which I possibly made the wrong decision. You know, I was asked to join Pink Floyd once, and it was about $1 million a week, but I had lots of lovely gigs with my band in clubs and universities. I said no. But there's loads of things like that.
What about advice for young musicians then?
Don't do it.
Or older musicians?
Don't do it.
Are you listening, son?
Relax. He's all right. He can play. You can give him gigs.
That's the advice. Don't do it.
No, the advice for the youngsters that I meet is, you know, do it. It's a beautiful, wonderful, fantastic, rewarding way of life, and I've loved it. Apart from the bits I've hated, and but it doesn't make you much money, and it's grueling, and it's unsociable, and it's hard, and lots of people fall off on the way. So only do it if you want to do it so badly that you can't imagine yourself doing anything else, and you're prepared to wait 10, 20 years before you can actually turn around and say, yeah, I'm a musician and I've been making a living off it for a few years. That's what I say to them.
I think that's good advice. It's the same as anything in life, really. If you're not really passionate about it, there's not much point in doing it.
I don't know.
Anyway, you've mentioned once or twice that you're very keen to start playing some music this evening.
Shall we?
So I'll let you go and get ready.
Hair and makeup. Whoa, he's gone.
Somebody's giving me a dud chair here.
Never drink before the show.
What's going on there? Don't put that in the DVD. Right, so please put your hands together and give a nice round of applause to Mr. Snake Davis.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks very much.
I'm not on this one.
This is for Stefan, who's over here from Memphis. Today's special is Memphis Soul Stew. We sell so much of this, people wonder what we put in it. Gonna tell you right now. Give me about half a teacup of bass. Bob Stevenson on bass. Now I need a pound of fatback drums. Rob Taylor on drums. Now give me 4 tablespoons of ball in Memphis guitar. It's gonna taste all right. Now here's the chunk of funk on guitar, Neil Scott. And also on guitar this evening, Tony Noonan. Now we need just a little pinch of organ. Just one of 3 Davises on the stage this evening. Please put your hands together for Matt Davis. Now we need just a little splash of trumpet. Please put your hands together for James Cunningham on trumpet. Now I know he's not here, he's disappeared somewhere, but please show your appreciation this evening for our vocalist, Keeper. Now give me half a pint of horn. Our special guest, Mr. Snake Davis. Now you place it on the burner. That's it. And you bring it to the boil. That's it, that's right there. Then you beat. Well,